It's great to see so many of you here. Thank you all for coming. I'm especially happy to have some of my family here today. I want to thank my mom and my husband for being here, Martha and Jamie. My daughters couldn't be here. My family are my biggest supporters, but my daughters have commitments. My oldest daughter is in her middle school classroom back in Bryan teaching English today. My youngest daughter, Caitlin, is in the middle of a 1.5-year commitment to India on a mission trip. Poor thing, she has to hear about this electronically. And my middle daughter, Lauren, is on an adventure all her own. She has joined the Air Force Reserve, and we will be heading to San Antonio next week for her graduation. Now, she doesn't even know about this. So when I see her, I don't know if we'll get a phone call before next week, but she knows nothing of this. So, but my family have always been my biggest supporters. And I also want to introduce my son-in-law, Tim, who's with us today, and I'm glad he could come. He's subbing for the daughter. And the lovely young lady to my left, I think she's the substitute daughter sometimes, is Sarah Giamo. And I've known Sarah since she moved here from Kentucky a few years ago, and she plays my surrogate child from time to time. 35 years ago, I felt a call. I felt a call to participate. It was a call to stand up and fight to change Arkansas. I felt the call to change Arkansas politics when Republicans in the Delta were fighting just to hold a primary in a public building. Where elections ended in May with the Democratic primary. Where election law was often disregarded. We had a one-party system, and I felt the call to change that. And we have. We have elected people at the county level and state level in positions not held by Republicans since Reconstruction. We also won legislative majorities. For the first time since Reconstruction, we control, through majorities, even if small, both ends of this state capitol. For the first time since Reconstruction. It has been an honor to be a part of that work that improves government for the people of Arkansas. As a teacher of government, I find it especially rewarding. We have changed Arkansas. Ladies and gentlemen, my friends and family, my valued colleagues, my name is Clemmer, and today I answer another call to stand up and fight for change. Change in Washington, D.C. as the next member of Congress representing Arkansas' 2nd Congressional District. In 2010, the voters of the 2nd District chose to have a common-sense conservative represent them in Congress. We elected Tim Griffin to fight for us in D.C., and we should be grateful for his service not only in Congress, but his continued service in uniform. Winning this seat, the 2nd District of Arkansas allowed Nancy Pelosi to be removed from the Speaker's chair. This seat has been targeted by D.C. liberals. It would be a shame if a loss here returned her, Ms. Pelosi, back to the Speaker's chair. Our country is in trouble. Our debt is now $17 trillion. An amount that we can't really fathom. From the crippling effects of Dodd-Frank to the failure of TARP, it's clear that the centralized, top-down government of the Obama administration is not working. It's unfairly picking winners and losers. Obamacare has proven to be a disaster, and even just Monday, we learned that the President's promise to the American people about being able to keep your insurance was nothing more than a pipe dream he knew would never happen. It's time we said enough. It's time to return common sense to government. It's time to continue the common sense conservative representation we have in Congress. Representation that says no to the President's failed agenda while fighting to fix the problems he has created. Fixing those problems won't be easy. In Washington, they kick the can down the road. In Washington, they run up the credit cards for bills that may never be paid. In Washington, problem solving takes a backseat to political gamesmanship. In Arkansas, when we disagree, we continue to work together. In Arkansas, we work to solve problems. And in Arkansas, we balance the budget. A stagnant economy, a growing mountain of debt, and a disastrous health care law are hurting the people of Arkansas today and threatening the futures of our children and grandchildren. The challenges we face in Arkansas and across the country are too serious for me to sit back and hope that someone else will fix them. That has never been my style. As a member of the legislature, I have taken the hard fights. I've taken on the hard fights, and I have led on the tough issues. Even when our Republican caucus was so small, we were just an afterthought. This last session, I was proud to carry an important pro-life bill in the House that is now law. I fought for the voter ID law in committee, and I fought on the floor of the House for that bill. When our governor vetoed our bills, those bills, and both the pro-life bills and the voter ID bill, I was proud to cast my vote each time to override that veto. I was proud to lead and to be part of the team that implemented unemployment insurance reforms that brought transparency to state government and initiated and passed the first ever ethics reform law to come out of the Arkansas legislature. We lowered taxes and we reduced the regulatory burden on business. We expanded educational choices for our children and we defended our Second Amendment rights. We won these victories as a team, fighting shoulder to shoulder to change Arkansas, over the strong objections and even the vetoes of our opponents. That's what we need in Washington, people willing to fight in the trenches for our common sense conservative values. As a member of the legislature, I have seen firsthand how Arkansas is constrained and limited more and more by the federal government in ways never intended by the Constitution or the founders. We have given up far too much of our power, and we have given far too much of our money to Washington, D.C. Our states created our federal government, and it's time we held Washington to the standards of Arkansas, not the other way around. Government in Washington needs to take a lesson from government in Arkansas, where instead of spending with no idea of how to pay the bill, we have to have the money first, just like the hard-working Arkansas families I represent. My name is Clemmer. I've lived in Arkansas all my life. I've raised my family here. The children who will raise their families here. I grew up in the Delta, where opportunities for women were limited, but where opportunities for employment weren't great for anyone. I attended public school. My children attended public school, and our schools must be strong so we can prepare our children for supporting themselves in a global marketplace. We have to fight to build a climate so that there are jobs for those children to have. Our children shouldn't have to leave the state to prosper. I want my daughters and their families to have more opportunities to build their lives here in our home state. And it's for this reason that I entered the campaign for 2nd District Congress. Fighting this fight will not be easy. As I have stood shoulder to shoulder with you to make Arkansas into a true two-party state, I need you to stand with me and share your time, your treasure, or your talent to make sure our seat can be successfully defended. It's time to answer the call, it's time to stand up, and it's time to change D.C. by making sure our voice is heard. Thank you so much. God bless you all, God bless Arkansas, and God bless our country.